here is the card we are going to make today. I'm going to show you how to make the background. I'm going to show you how to create the butterflies and that we split them. We're going to see how to compose it and how to put it together. Really, really pretty card. Didn't know how it was going to turn out until I had created it, but absolutely loving it. I hope you like it. Let's see how it's made. I always think it's good fun when you start a project and you've got an idea and you know maybe something that you want to use, such as this stamp, but you don't know how the project's going to finish off. So it's always that element of surprise. So I think that's really good fun. So I bought this stamp, which is like these graffiti hearts with text in, when I went to Doncaster a few weeks back now. Pretty certain that green dot meant I got it. It was one of these everything with a green dot for £5 type thing. But I really, really love this stamp and I've not been able to find a way to use it, or I've not come up with a project yet. So I'm going to have a go today. I've just put some pink on that side. So I'm going to stamp it on here. So I've got a piece of watercolour card and it is 4 inches by 6 3/4. Don't ask me how I came by those measurements. They just seem to happen. I don't know. Just worked at the time, so I just went with it. Okay, so I'm going to pop this onto here. It's quite a sticky stamp, I have found. So what I've got is I've also got a couple of pieces of tape, and I'm just going to write up these corners because the stamp doesn't, because of the shape of it, I know it doesn't go to those corners. So I've got my magnet on, but I've just put a piece of tape on there as well because it's a solid stamp. You can't sort of get in between. So I'm going to pop that right up, quite high up, just like that, just there. So we're going to pop that across, pick it up. Like I say, it can be a bit of a sticky stamp, this one, so it can take that's why I put the extra tape on, because otherwise it takes the paper with you, then you can't re-stamp should you need to. So let's put some on there. Actually, you don't need too much. I think probably less is more because it just wants to be a light background. So I'm actually going to try on this one not to do too much. On my test one I probably did, now that is not too much. Let's put a bit more on. There we go. Let's see what this comes out like. I thought that would work. No, we're still not there. We need some more ink on that, don't we? It's not picking up. It's watercolour card, so it's quite porous. I have just re-inked my stamp pad, so I'd have thought it would have come up better than that. Okay, we'll try again. Luckily I put that tape on so it holds nice and tight. This isn't working how I thought, but this is the fun element, isn't it? Is to try and really, yeah, there, right, that's perfect. So it's sort of dark and light and what have you. So what I'm going to do is slide the magnet off, lift up this so that I get this tape off, and then I'm going to slide my piece of paper up there, my watercolour card rather, and I'm going to put a little bit of tape on just to hold it down. Oops, let's try and get it a little bit straight. I'm also going to put my magnet on. I can put my magnet on top, and then I can reposition my stamp, because I find that it's quite a good repositionable one here. I can actually go again, just there, look, and it's not a repeating stamp, but you can repeat with it. So all I need to do then is so I'm not putting any pressure up at the top where it's sticking out, but just put it there. And then we'll ink. Let's ink nicely on this one. It's like I said, I just re-inked my stamp pad. You know me, whenever I buy sort of my workhorse ink pads, I always try to get the re-inkers to go with them. Why did I just ink down there? I do not know. Never mind. I only meant to ink up at the top. I wasn't thinking. I was too busy talking. And then we can put that onto there. Perfect. See, it's now stamped on there. That is absolutely perfect. So I just want to, what I'm actually going to do is lift that. I found that if I drag the magnet off, it can tend to put mark on my cardstock. Right, so let's put that down there. There we go. Right, so there's my background. Now I could do inky backgrounds on, but I thought I fancy having to go with a little bit of texture. So let's get my crafty mat in to protect our work surface. So I'm going to go dots because I like that. I just wanted to find a stencil that was big enough to be able to lay down and cover it in one go. A lot of my other stencils were too narrow and I'd have had to have lifted it up, and then you've got to let it dry and do this. So I have got some modelling paste, high density modelling paste, it says on there. What's it say on here? Oh, just plenty to discover. So yeah, I found it's quite a good one to go through your stencils because it's quite thick, I did do a few testers of this, going straight in with glitter paste, and I wasn't getting the look I wanted. So this one's actually taken me a while to prep to get to the point where I was happy with what I've got. So I'm not going all over. I'm just going to pick out a few bits, just like that, just randomly, if you can do random. We all know random isn't easy. It's a lovely smooth paste is this one. So that I've also got a translucent texture paste, and actually part of me is like, that could have been quite interesting to do, because you would see more coming through, wouldn't you? So, yeah, so it's up to you. You could see what you've got. You've seen me use gesso before, and there's lots of different ways to do it. So I'm just randomly putting that on there. Okay, I don't want it too thick. Take that off. So you hardly use any, because you can always put what you don't use back in the jar. So once that's done like that, I can carefully lift off. There we are. See, that was okay. And then I'm going to use my poker tool to pick up, and you can see I've now got that on there. So this is a sort of very off-white colour. That's fine. When it dries, and because I can't do anything with that one for a bit, it dries like this. So I've just randomly, you can fit here, I've got this nice texture on there. Right, I'm just going to clear these bits up. Okay, so that's all cleared up, so's my mat. All I could say is look after your tools when you've got them. They're the bit that you invest so much money in, and I can't count how many stencils and things like that I have come across while I was working in the studios that were ruined because people didn't clean them quickly enough, and things stained and marked, glitter paste and texture paste and all the rest of it. Anyway, so this is my dry one, and we're going to add some colour. Now you can do this in a couple of ways. I've just randomly picked a couple of colours. You might want to use 3 colours, 2 colours, it's entirely up to you. So I've got plum jam and honey pot. Both of them are water reactive, so I'm going to put a bit of plum jam down. Let's put that down. I think I did them the other way around when I did my tester one. The lighter one first. It's entirely up to you. So wet it so you can see, and then just pick, oops, that's come off my mat, it's fine. Pick some of that up, and we can just, that'll probably do. So I'm just going to get that off there. Then the best thing to do is to get it dry. So I'm going to make it dry rather than let it dry. And I've got my heat gun plugged in. So give me a minute to make this dry. Okay, so that's my first one. Remember, we're not finished yet. Now, 2 points I want to point out. One, when you start to heat this, you can smell the texture paste. Don't worry about that. It's just the smell it gives off. It just smells as if it's re-drying. And the second one is the texture paste won't cover very well with your diluted inks, but that's not a problem because we've got another step to go in a minute, and they will. So I'm going to go in with my yellow now. And look at that, I've got different sort of shades of the yellow, so then I can pick this up. Now, the one I've sort of tested on, it's come out very different, and they always will. You'll always get a different look. If you want to go in with a little bit more like that, so that's now a bit stronger, so I can drag a little bit of that water down and just put it on there. And again, look at this. Actually, I'll come in there in a bit with the pink. Actually, see if I can get a little bit of pink without creating a muddy mess. So let's just go in here with a little bit of pink. There we go, that'll do. If you ever get it too much that you don't like, just dab and do. So let me just give this a little bit more of a dry. Okay, so I've got that dry enough. Another point I'd like to point out is when you're drying off like this, always remember to turn over your card and do a little bit of drying on the back, because it flattens the card back out. So that's a top tip, if I could give you one, is to always remember to dry from the back too. So as I said, some of the texture paste hasn't picked up the colour very well. So all I'm going to do is get my ink, the same ink that I used before. I'm going to pick it up, and then I'm just going to go over the top. So it's not, because it's got height with the texture paste, it's mainly the texture paste that's picking up this colour. Yeah, it's laying down a little bit of background colour, but not a lot. Most of the colour is staying on the texture paste, which I really like. So you can come in as dark or as light as you want. Let's come in, put that on there so I remember it's that one. Let's come in with the pink, and then onto here. And you can see it even more, that the texture pastes pick up the colour really, really well. There we go. Just looks a bit nicer. So you've got this background. Now you can't put your texture paste on and then stamp, because your stamp won't work. The texture paste has to, if you want texture paste on, it's got to go on top of your stamp. Yeah, get the words out. But I mean, you might just want to do it, if you want to do something like this card when it's finished, you think, well, I like that, you might just want to do the stamping, you might just want to do texture paste. It's entirely up to you. So I'm going to put that like that, and I really, really like that. Then I suddenly remembered that I had a few products that I've not really used. So I was sent by Sticks 2, when I first stopped being on TV, they sent me some fabric spray paints. They sent me quite a few colours, quite strong, bold colours, and actually I'm going to be doing something Halloweeny for them in the next day or two. So, but I've got white and black, and you remember I was saying the other week is how I really struggle to do white. So I've got this fabric spray paint. It's water based. Now, did you notice the ink we used on our stamping was a permanent waterproof ink? Really important, because I've used water in my inks and I'm now using a water based spray paint. So if I'd have used, say, let me find it. Oh, if I'd used my Memento, now this would probably have bled a little bit and not looked as good. Okay, so I've got the white, and I'm going to just lift it up, because when I did this on my tester, I ended up with it all up the back of here. So I'm just going to lift it up, and I'm just going to put a little bit of a spray of the white. I like that. I like how it tones down. Now you can probably see in here the black. The black spray is really strong, so I'm actually going to go back to the way I sometimes do these, and I'm going to grab this, grab my pokey tool, and I'm just going to give it much better. Oh, still splatting everywhere. Come on, I might need to dab again. Come on. Oh, still strong, but it's better than, I'll show you the one I had in a minute. There, that'll do. That will do. I've just got some black on there. I'm just going to show you the one that I did when I did it as a spray. Fine if you were spraying some things, but I wanted gentle, and can you see how I've got, I like it, but it's a little bit heavy. So I'm just going to dry this, and then all of the drying has finished. Well, all I can say is, wow, fabric paint takes a little bit of drying. What I might recommend to you is, if you're doing this at home, that maybe you just give it, I don't know, an hour or so to dry on its own, because that was actually quite hard work to get it to dry. But I think it's probably dry enough that I can keep going to the next phase. So there is my topper. It's homemade, it's unique, it is totally whatever you want it to be. Your own background stamp. You know, you can't actually tell where this stamp fit. I know, because I know what the pattern is, but it's hard to tell where I have repeated it or how I've repeated it. I just think that's lovely. So I'm sure you've got a stamp that you could use. I'm sure you've got some inks that you really like, whether the blues, greens, whatever you want them to be. So you can do that on there. And that is going to go on my card base. So my card base is really, really simple. And I found some gorgeous purple card. Now, this was from my Cosmic collection. Do you know what? I haven't even ever opened it. I've just had to open it to do this. And I've got my darkest purple out, which I thought didn't that go really well? Really good match. So I thought I would use that. Never used it before. And I took a card base for an 8x8 envelope, and I've trimmed it down, put the burgundy on, put some white on, because you know I like to do the layers. And then on top of that, I'm going to do a black and white matte layer, and that is going to be stuck down using a little bit of foam tape. I very rarely make totally flat cards. It's just not my style. So I do like even this. So this isn't, like I said, my Sticks 2 foam tape. It's just a 2mm height in tape. It's only a couple of mil wide, probably 5mm wide. But I just love the extra little bit of height that it gives you, a little bit of dimension. If everything all around you is quite flat, but it's not too much that it's going to be an issue for posting. I know not in the UK, we'd easily get this through our postal system. as always, I always put a little bit of glue on there. That's not because I don't trust the glue of this tape. This tape is very good. It's because I need sometimes to give it a little bit of a move around. You see, that's touching, but I can still wiggle it around to get it level. The only thing is it can then take a while to just adhere because the glue is acting there. So I've gone up by 1/8 of an inch each time. Now this one, it's watercolour card and it's had water on it, so it can be a little bit yeah, they have skinned over just about. It can be a little bit you can see buckled and cockled. So all I'm going to do, I'm actually just going to get this because I don't want to mess up my tone in case there's a little bit. I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to be very, very gentle because it's not very dry. What I should have done is filmed this first bit, gone away for an hour and come back. But I'm needed to help hubby in the garden, so I just want to get this video finished because I've got to help him reline the pond. So yes, it's about getting this done. But I do enjoy doing it. I really, really do. So pop that on there. Bit of red liner. So the red liner will grab. So the red liner will hold it flat. And then I'm going to come in with some wet glue just all down the middle because I want that to grab too. And pop that there. Turn that over. Oh, I didn't do any damage. That's all right. And then make sure my card's the right way up. And then I can then take this, hold it over so it's not quite touching to begin with till I'm ready. Then when I'm ready, I can press down where that red liner tape is. Can you see how it's bending upwards? But I've got that red liner to grab there, so I know it's going to go nice and flat. So yeah, it's all about getting the right adhesive. Now isn't that gorgeous? We could go you could basically a simple sentiment and that will do. We're going to go a little bit further. Now, one of my favourite dies sets is this Perfect Papillon. It's a 3-layer set, so you do that one in one colour, that in another, and then this one in your third colour, and you can layer them up. But actually this one cuts a beautiful butterfly. So I've cut it in white, and I've not even taken it out the die yet. I've cut it, get rid of that red liner, I've cut it in black. There we go. Look at this. It cuts beautifully, especially out of black. It is so gorgeous. There we go. There we are. There we go. Okay. So what I've got is I've got my black one and my white one. Now, when I put my black one over the top, it sort of got a little bit lost. So what I thought I'd do is I'd make a drop shadow. Now you can do this with your paper trimmer or you can do it with your scissors. So I'm going to go straight up the middle of my butterfly body, straight out there. There we go. And I'm going to do the same with the white. Just straight up there. And then I'm going to glue the black on top of the white with just, that's moved, with just the smallest drop shadow. So I'm going to go to the left on that one and I'm going to go to the right on that one. And that is going to give me a beautiful butterfly. And this one I've already done. So you can see that's all I'm going to do is I've done them. I just use my dotty tape pen because then the bits don't go. So I've still got my full butterfly, but I've got him in 2 parts. So what I thought I would do is I wasn't sure whether to put him up there and that one down there. Now you saw the sentiment, I gave it away. So it says send in love and hugs on your birthday, which is quite long for here. So what I thought I'd do is I'd cut this into 3. So I'd go send in love rather. Oh, that's a bit tight on there, but never mind, we're through. And hugs on your birthday. And what I've done is I've cut a piece of the burgundy card just to the right side. So let me grab my tweezers. So let's start with the first one. And then we can put a bit of tape on. Not tape, glue. Why did I say tape? I don't know. So we can put that on there. And then I'm going to put that on to here. Just to give me a nice little mat and layer. Oh, sorry, you can't see what I was doing there. So I'll do that one. And then cut that out. So let's get the second one and hugs and put that one on here. And I haven't stuck down my butterfly yet on purpose, and I'll show you why in a minute. And that one on there. Get that to there. Now that is, I've moved it with my fingers while the glue's wet. There. Get that glue out. And then the final one on your birthday. I just thought this is quite nice. And then, oops, the last one is going to go on there. Because it's a pearlescent card, it's just taking a minute for the glue to grab. Just takes a minute. But tacky glue does. Once it's grabbed, it's brilliant. But it's just got to break through that barrier, you know, that pearlescent finish on your card. And once it's done that, perfect. I always find big scissors are better for this. That's my personal choice. Okay, so what we've got there. So if I do sending love and hugs on your birthday, does that look right, or does it look better? Because we read from left to right, does it read better? I think it probably does. I think it probably does. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take this. I've got more bits and pieces here. I'm going to give this a little bit of a shape because I don't like doing anything flat totally. Exaggerate the curve for a minute. Don't worry, it won't stay that curve. Then just come round and shape this bit. There we go. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a bit of glue down here. And then I'm going to pop that on just there. Like I say, I've exaggerated the curve to begin with. Just give that a second. There we go. Then we're going to do this one. I mean, again, you could choose. It might be that you have a look at a bit of the pattern paper that you like, that you've created, you know, and work it out, you know, where you want it to, where you want the butterfly cut out to be, based on what elements, you know, you can see. Okay, so we've got that. So then I'm going to grab some 3D glue or foam pads. It's entirely up to you. These are a little bit protruding for a minute, but I will shape them again in a minute. So then we can just put a little bit of 3D glue on here. So let's go sending love. So I'm just going to try and match these two up first. A little bit of 3D glue on there. So this one wants to be roughly the same sort of height at the bottom. We can come in a little bit more. And then the final one just wants to go somewhere nicely in the middle. I love it. The texture paste isn't too in your face, but it's just adding that little bit extra. Oh, I've got a little bit of black still wet. And then the final thing, and I don't know yet whether I need it, so I was going to put a few little gems on, just these, but I've got those black splats, so I'm just going to literally do a couple, because I've almost created these myself with that black paint. So where there are some little gaps still, I'm just going to grab a couple of these and pop them in, just to fill up those tiny gaps that are about, and maybe, you know, go in between some of those dots, because like I say, I've got quite a lot in there. Actually, I think I might go a tiny one down here. Oh, where did that go? It flicked. Tiny one just down there. And that is it. So I can layer that down. Oh, let's just lift that up a little bit. There we go. And that's still, there we are. Right. I am loving that. So we've split the butterfly, we've created our background ourselves, and yeah, how about that? Imagine what this is going to look like in a different colourway. Yeah, all the different ways. Just make sure my sentiments are all nice and straight. Then only gently press down. But yes, I am loving that. Wasn't sure how it was going to turn out. We've sort of adapted as we've gone. Like I say, I prepped myself one here. Didn't like that as much. Preferred how this one turned out. I think what I like about this is I've got less, the stamping on the background is less intense, because that one, it was quite hard to see the butterflies because it had come a bit intense. So yeah, again, sometimes almost a failed stamp really works. I love the texture. Yeah, really chuffed with how that has turned out. So I hope you like that. That's it for today. Thank you for watching, and thank you as always for subscribing. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want to make sure you get all the crafty inspiration that I bring to you on a regular basis. I do try to post 4 times a week most weeks. Obviously, there are times when that might struggle, but I do try to post 4 times. So if you want to make sure you never miss, please don't forget to tick that little subscribe bell on the homepage. That would be lovely. Otherwise, there's lots of links all down here for you to click on. That will be fantastic. But otherwise, that is it until my next video. I hope you all have an amazing week, whatever you are doing, whether you're on holiday, you're at work, or whether you've got some crafty time. Lucky you if that's the case. So until next time, enjoy your crafting. Don't forget to show me if you have a go at doing this. And until then, take care. Happy crafting, everyone. Speak to you soon. Bye for now.